how bad is this, Jeff, when the wrestlers are crying in the ring every week? How literally?
The theory that it was inaudible because
at the same time that they've been, feeding into you this idea that you're supposed to
make us think that he's about to talk about this person serious. So I'm like, it doesn't necessarily count as a rep. It's not a kendo stick or anything like that.
And I don't like that idea. He wouldn't have had a promo, but like. For realizing like this is the first time Logan Paul has shown up since
he said, "You're out here. You're out here."
Do we push him to the back or what?
All right, Dirt Sheet Radio Nation. Woo, WWE Draft Day. Small Austin 316 of the 2KWE, along with the rest of my posse. Let's go, CJ Cardi, Malik Wilson, and of course the ever so lovely B. Ray Jones. What's going, y'all? What's going on? I got the notes. Let's get right into it. The main event was an event brought to you by one of the top picks of tonight's draft, Carmelo Hayes versus Cody Rhodes. Man, that was pretty crazy to come out there and challenge Cody Rhodes on the first night you're picked. But what are your thoughts? Go ahead. Shoot, whoever go first.
Yeah, I thought the match itself was pretty good. The fact that it happened on Melo's quote-unquote first night as a SmackDown superstar is a nice feather in the cap for him, especially since he did it the way he did. He came out, he challenged the champ, but he still shook his hand before the match, and he did it in a way that really sets him up as a sort of consummate professional, which on Cody Rhodes' blue brand, I think is really going to be sort of a defining hallmark. I mean, he shook AJ Styles' hand at the top of the card too, so it's it was a great match, and I'm hopeful to see what Melo does on SmackDown.
Yeah, Malik, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, I thought it was an amazing match. It was great to see Melo get his shot immediately. I know he's been on SmackDown before, but there was always questions about if he was really still on SmackDown or if he was in NXT because he was finishing up his program with new NXT champion Trick Williams. But I thought it was a great match. I guess, can we go ahead and talk about the end of the match? Because that's kind of what's on my brain after seeing the match. I'm kind of wondering what happened on that spot with both of them doing the springboards. I'm wondering if when Cody was talking to him, I don't know if he was like talking down to him at all. I kind of think Cody was giving him like motivation because it seemed like it was a messed up spot there. So I'm hopefully that's what it was. But it was great to see Melo in that spot, and hopefully we can't just put all the blame on Melo for that spot, and it was both of them. So that's the only thing I'm waiting to see.
It doesn't look good for him when this is now the second time it's happened in a match on SmackDown. Correct. Back to his match with Austin Theory. I mean, I don't think it's going to lead to anything, but it's not a great start. But he can only go up from here.
Yep.
Brittany, what are your thoughts on that?
I caught the very end of it. Hopefully Cody's shoulder is okay because that was a super rough landing. But shout out to Melo. I mean, they was pretty much giving us a test run anyway to see how he would fit on SmackDown, and I think it's going to be a good fit. I do believe he is the first NXT star to get drafted in the first round. So
yes, he is. Yep.
That lets you know how high they are on Melo. So, but overall, the match, from what I saw, was pretty good. A nice official welcome to SmackDown. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he cook on SmackDown as an official member of the roster.
Yeah, I was like stunned when I seen that. I mean, was he supposed to catch Cody, or Was Cody supposed to catch him, or
It
they
looked
both
like
were
Cody was supposed to
to?
catch him, and I don't know where the miscommunication came, but it looked bad. It looked
Looked
super
like
bad.
Melo jumped too early. That's what it looked like
Probably,
to
yeah.
me. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, that was a rough landing, and I was like, "Oh man!" Like the
Yeah.
first thing that went through my mind was Rhea Ripley, and then, man, what if Cody gets hurt and he got her?
We
Oh,
can't.
hey,
We
hey,
can't.
hey, man, what if Cody get hurt? He gonna have to relinquish that title. Why the hell? The first thing I thought was call Roman Reigns. Like, like call him back. Like it's only been 3 weeks. What's going on? But man, hopefully he was raising the title up at the end. I don't know. He looked a little grimaced at the end, but that was pretty crazy. Yeah, I do want to talk about at the end. Was AJ supposed to sneak up on him and catch him? And then they improvised a whole handshake.
Yeah, I think all of that was improvisation
And
because when
Yeah,
I
it was.
and I think because like the botch before or the mishap before with in the match with Carmelo Hayes, that it was probably supposed to be like a phenomenal forearm or something from the back, but because we weren't too sure if he was hurt or not, they just like improvised that whole little last part because that felt kind of weird. The whole thing felt kind of weird, especially too, where he was like smacking Carmelo Hayes. I don't know if he was like, "Man, you fucked up," or was he was giving them pep talk, or was it like a little of both?
well, there was a whole 5 minutes left when the match was over. So I did look down at the time when the match officially ended, and I feel like 5 minutes is a lot of time. There's something just didn't seem right with that whole segment.
Right. It looked like AJ was like, "I was supposed to hit you, but let's just play it off for about 90 more seconds. Hold it on, hold it on. All right, let me just give you a handshake." Like,
And I think mainly because they got one more face to face next week. So I'm like, okay, so do we beat each other up now or do we wait until next week? So
it looks like the consensus throughout the Dirt Sheet Radio Nation, it was kind of lackluster on the draft. It was. There was some little key moments. We'll move into that. We started off with the draft, the contract signing, Cody versus AJ. Hey, does this have to be the first contract signing in WWE history where there was no blows, there was no tables flipped, no tables broken, nobody got choke slammed, nobody got power bombed through the table? Like, we're all expecting it. We're all spoiled to that. We're all waiting it. It's kind of like, get the tables, and it didn't happen. I thought they were going to start off real hot with when they started off with the contract signing. I'm like, oh, they're going to start off real hot. Like, I'm expecting at least old school guy. I'm expecting a fight. Somebody say contract signing. Yeah. What are these guys' thoughts on that? B-Ray.
Mid to me, from what I saw. I don't know. It's just something about this feud. Like I feel like is and I guess I shouldn't be too harsh because it's literally like tying up like loose ends of WrestleMania, but I don't know. It just feels kind of weak to me. And I feel like they could have took that and did it pretty much. They could have took that and elevated a little bit, even with the draft and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I'm not a real big fan of this feud or this build up. So yeah, let's just hear him get this match over with so we can move on.
CJ Carter.
I didn't think it was a bad thing that they didn't get physical during the contract signing, especially since they're going to have a face-to-face next week's show. So if they want to do anything physical, they can do it next week. I think there was enough going on just with the draft that they didn't need it. Plus, if we were anticipating that AJ was going to attack Cody at the end of his match, then that's just kind of a hat on a hat.
Yeah, I think we probably could have saved the contract signing until next week, maybe. What are your thoughts, Malik?
I agree with you, Sam. My notes it says the AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes contract signing did nothing for me. I get it that this is kind of just a bridge for whatever's next for Cody. The whole thing with AJ Styles and him just kind of just doesn't make sense to me at all. But I'm with Sam. I was expecting savagery, and we got respect, and I didn't want that this week. Hopefully next week is when things will turn up, unless they continue in this storyline and AJ Styles does something totally disrespectful at the pay-per-view to give us something to care. But the contract signing did nothing for me this week.
Yeah, well, hopefully everybody's good and 100% go, and hopefully the jitters don't really take over and Carmelo Hayes' arrival. I don't want him to, start dropping the ball when he get his number called, and there's a lot riding on that young man's shoulders, and I'm sure he's putting enough on his own plate. But we step into the first pick. Triple H comes out. Cody just stick around. You might as well stick around. You're for the first year, all champions are basically locked into position where their respective titles belong to. So so that kind of like eliminates everybody, but it also keeps storyline with those title belts in place either. So usually if the champion moves around, the story and the title moves with them, and then we get the funky handoff between Flair and Becky Lynch that one time where it was like, man, what's really going on? There should have been a fight there too, but there wasn't. Like, come on, man. Contract signing, switching of belts, there should be fights. like that's automatic. But first pick, surprise to me. Not saying it's a bad pick, but the first overall pick was Bianca Belair. It's a great pick, but I thought we was going to get Jade, number 1. That's the hottest prospect that they got,
Or at least that's how they were hyping her up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
was she eligible tonight, or was she only eligible on Monday?
I was just about to ask that question.
They did show the screenshot of everybody eligible. I got it somewhere, but
let me see.
I didn't see if she was on it. But it's good. I mean, I like Bianca Belair. Who doesn't like Bianca Belair?
Right.
So
right now, Damage Control.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. That was just a surprising pick. Who would have been your first pick, Malik?
I'm not going to piss CJ off and say the Final Testament. I'm not going to do that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give CJ a break because they actually did show up. So we'll talk about that later. But honestly, man, my first pick after everything that Seth has done WrestleMania weekend would have been him. I would have loved for Seth Rollins to be the number 1 pick. Just the way after everything was done during WrestleMania and seeing everything that he had to endure in order to finish the stories for him and for Cody Rhodes, I would have liked to see Seth Rollins get the first pick.
B-Ray, who if you had the pencil, who would you pick? First pick out the door.
I would have done the Bloodline only because that's still the hottest thing going in the WWE. I'm a huge Bianca fan, of course. Black woman, but I'm shocked that she went number 1, especially where she is now as far as on the totem pole. But I would have either went the Bloodline or Seth.
Right, CJ Carter, who do you would have picked if you had the pencil?
I gotta hop on the Seth train and say he would have been my first pick for sure, just based on his banner year. I get that he's injured right now and not on TV, but yeah, that's still a huge draw for any brand. Britt, I wanted to just kind of talk about your you would have picked Bloodline potentially for first round. I love that they didn't, though. Like, the story that they're telling with this new Bloodline is interesting in the sense that right now Solo, I think, is finding out the hard way that leadership isn't as easy as he thinks it is, and the allure of the Bloodline is not necessarily him right now. So if that's part of his growth into becoming the tribal chief, then I'm all for that. But I love that they're kind of emphasizing that the bloodline's not as important as they used to be.
I wouldn't
That's
say
true,
they're
yeah.
not as important as they are. They're just putting certain pieces in certain places.
Yeah.
We've seen before the first pick, we already seen Heyman announce Roman's withdrawing from 2024 draft. And I was like, Kevin McAllister, like, oh, what? Really? Like, come on. Like,
So what does that mean, though? Does that mean he's on the Brock Lesnar free agent thing, or?
So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
This is the part, because if you listen to what Paul said, I had looked at the clip and it said, Roman has pretty much been the person that catapulted SmackDown to a higher height, and it just kind of felt like, why have him hog that number 1 pick again? So just let somebody else have it, and then let him figure out what he's gonna do, since he's not here for the foreseeable future. I think it's a good way to make him a free agent. One, to set up the bloodline versus bloodline, because I'm almost positive we're going to eventually get Roman over there to try to make amends with Jay eventually, and that starts that bond back together. So I'm leaning towards free agency probably.
Well, then we seen Bianca Belair got first pick. We seen, really, this was a shocker to me for Raw. It's still a good pick. It kind of elevated him in my eyes a little bit more as of today, but Jey Uso was the number 1 pick. Main event. So when Triple H made an emphasis on main event, Jey Uso, now, he's the number 1 pick for Raw. That really capitalized along with the title, main event, Jey Uso. So they should probably use that, going forward. Number 1 pick, main event, Jey Uso, So,
yeah, I saw that one coming for sure.
You did. I didn't see that one coming.
No, yeah, I saw that one coming.
For Raw?
Number 1 contender for a reason.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
I didn't see that one coming. 3 against 1. I love it.
I didn't see Jey Uso being the number 1 pick. I didn't.
Right. Who'd you? Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Luke.
I did. Honestly, I'm with the Seth Rollins thing. Like, I thought it was going to be Seth Rollins as the number 1 pick. I got super respect for Jey.
Well, Seth Rollins was 4th. Well, second in their first round. Mm-hmm. So he's still in the first round, mm-hmm. right? But who did you thought Seth Rollins was going to be first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right.
I got the picture up, and Jade is only eligible to be drafted on Monday.
Okay.
Okay,
makes sense.
All right.
So very possible first round draft pick on Monday.
It's highly possible. Mm-hmm.
They breaking up the big 3 already, huh?
How about this? We forgot. Jimmy got beat up. He got tossed out like yesterday's trash and last week's newspaper from the bloodline. Can we see this could be the reason to get the Usos back together?
Well, I mean, if we
not right away.
Yeah, I mean,
so you don't think Jimmy's gonna get drafted to Raw?
So based off of this, Jimmy's not listed, so he's not getting drafted because I think they reported that he has.
Isn't he hurt?
Right. Yeah, I think they reported he had an injury, but he's not even. I'm looking. There's a lot of people eligible on Monday, and yeah, Jimmy is not on here.
Well,
nope.
I mean, when they drafted the bloodline, he wasn't there. Like
right, so
he wasn't even on the graphic for the bloodline anymore. Well, yeah, it does make sense, but
now
it's interesting.
How about when Paul Heyman was like, "Hey, like when Solo first came, he was like, I don't want to jump ahead, but it was pretty great. Hold on, we'll talk about it when we get there. Listen, then we find out Melo comes out, he attacks Cody. That's how we got our main event. Moving right along. Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio, LWO versus Legado del Fantasma. Yes, thank you. Yes, because I was doing the same thing. I was like, man, I'm tired of this already, guys. Like, really? But Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio wins. Santos Escobar comes out at the end, exposes Carlito to be the one. Oh, heavens forbid. Everybody knew it. But I think this was like 4 weeks too late. They should have did this reveal at WrestleMania. It probably would have popped a little bit better.
Yeah.
But like I'm tired of this. And being a Latino, I'm tired of why they always got to put the Latinos versus the Latinos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, damn, like we're tired of that too. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? CJ Carter.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think this would have been better served to be done. Even SmackDown after WrestleMania would have been a better time to pull the trigger on it because they were like it was still relevant. Here, 3 weeks after, and I completely forgot that even happened. So, and I think that's why it fell flat in the arena too, because people just didn't have that same investment that they did when it happened.
Right. And isn't this like the second time Dragon Lee got attacked? Because I know he got attacked like a month or two ago on SmackDown, and one of his first appearances, he got attacked too, and he was supposed to be in some type of qualifying match, and he got attacked. But it wasn't like Carlito, because this was before Carlito came, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Somebody took his spot.
Yeah, you're right.
So like, they just gave us the same thing regurgitated. Yeah. But your thoughts, Malik?
When will everybody open their eyes that Rey Mysterio is the real villain? It's really bothering me. The reason why
this would bring me back. This would suck me back. Rey's the ultimate good guy, so I don't think it's gonna happen. But
see, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
Let him cook.
This is why the storyline makes sense. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but I was paying very close attention because this was my first show back, so I was paying very close attention. Notice when they got to the match, it wasn't the LWO music's playing, even though it's a tag team match with a fellow LWO member. It's Rey Mysterio's music playing. Notice how Carlito was scared of Rey when he had to run out of the ring. So thank God Carlito doesn't need to be a part with that tyrant in LWO anymore. Now until they expose Rey Mysterio for who he really is, which is he's the real villain of this whole story, I'm not into this LWO stuff no more. I'm not. Because I see Rey Mysterio for who he really is.
What if Rey
he said you can't fool me.
Rey fully goes 1999, rips his mask off,
the mask
guys, and he like,
got me back.
Olale, what's up? 619, and he starts wearing the street camo again.
Yeah, you got me back then.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm done with that one, and hopefully they put it to bed here at the next pay-per-view squash on that one. And speaking of squash, Braun Breaker comes out versus, I had to look twice because I missed the introduction, but versus Cedric Alexander, my boy. I trained with him a little bit, or he trained me a little bit for a few months. He's a good guy, him and his wife. And man, my boy got squashed. He's making that money, but he's getting squashed. He's getting squashed, and I hope they could find something better for him, because he's a real good talent. It's real good talent. But Braun Breaker, of course, Braun Breaker's hot right now, so I would have not picked nobody better than Cedric Alexander to make sure that his little squash match goes perfect. Mm-hmm. So what are your guys' thoughts on Braun Breaker? Are you excited, or do you feel that some of the shine is wearing a little, because he's been there before, and then now it's official or whatever it is, and I don't know. So now we've seen him on SmackDown, I think, for the last time, because the next is the second round that comes through after that. What are you guys' thoughts on Braun Breaker?
Well,
yeah,
go ahead, CJ. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
No, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Go ahead, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, I've watched NXT every single week, so I'm still very much attuned to Braun Breaker. This point here that John's making, I thought during this match, like for the first time in years, first thing I thought of was those "Please sign Cedric" chants at the end of the his match at the Cruiserweight Classic, and I'm like, dude deserves so much better than this. Like, I wasn't really into his promo segments with Ashante the Adonis, the tag team that they were starting to make there, which I don't know if that just kind of fell to the wayside because, and I know they were still promoting them as draft eligible on the ticker tonight as a team, but why are you putting them in a singles match against Braun Breaker then? If you're trying to push them as a tag team, you've got a locker room full of guys. But also, the worrying part of the back of my head was thinking about the last two matches that Braun Breaker had on SmackDown were again in squash matches against Dante Chen and Cameron Grimes. So it's kind of a little worrying trend. I love Cedric Alexander, big fan of his. I hope he sticks around, but I really hope he's not in danger of going anywhere.
And if you've been having your ear to the wrestling floor this week, you know, Travis Lee, Cameron Grimes made a heart-wrenching video. So, you know, that's tough. You know, he got let go. He got released. So I was thinking the same thing, Carter. I was thinking the same thing, like, oh no, like, oh man, I would hate to have, you know, Cedric get cut, you know, because I you know, I trained with him personally, so I feel a little close to him. But that's, you know, that's something that's a part of the business, and you know, it's a revolving door and a merry-go-round. You get on, you get off, you get back on, and you know, you pay your fare, and sometimes they take your quarter and spit it back at you and say, scram, kid. So I don't know. B-Ray, what are your thoughts on Braun Breaker? And like, do you agree with me if I say this squash match on SmackDown was kind of like pointless to have if he's going to get drafted to Raw? We might see him again on Raw. And is it going to be too much, Braun?
So since he is officially drafted to Raw, I do kind of feel like it was a little pointless. I feel like what they could have done was just announce that he got drafted to Raw, and then he could just cut a promo. I feel like a squash was kind of unnecessary. And I thought about that with Cedric too. I was like, okay, well, since they unloaded releases, maybe it's this time for him to get cut, but clearly that didn't happen. So hopefully that's not the case going forward, because I like Cedric, like you said too. But yeah, it was pointless. I didn't like the squash. And like I said, you could have got a hometown indie wrestler.
Oh yeah.
To do that.
And there was a lot of them out there and dressed as security guards tonight.
Right. So you could have did that, and then
somebody got fucked up, or later in the show we'll talk about that.
But yeah, they could have did that and then had Braun like cut a promo, you know, about him getting ready to go to Raw and putting everybody on notice. But like I said, I'm a fan of Braun, so just like Melo, I'm looking forward to seeing him cook on Raw.
Yeah.
All right, Malik.
Yeah.
I agree with Brittany, and I agree with CJ. My notes literally say Braun Breaker squashing Cedric Alexander shouldn't be overlooked. Cedric isn't a local talent, former champ. WWE better have big things in store for Braun Breaker after that.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander is somebody they were able to use wherever he's always been, a consummate professional. I don't think he deserved to get squashed unless there's something on bigger horizons for him and bigger horizons for Braun Breaker. This puts Braun Breaker on my dartboard now. WWE needs to get this right now. Because if you're squashing people like Cedric Alexander for him, you have no room to get Braun Breaker wrong at any point. I get the squash though, because they drafted him right after the match to Raw, so it was more like of a showcase for Braun Breaker for that brand. So I get it, but they better get Braun Breaker right after that, or I will be back.
All right. And after this, we seen our first little spoonfuls of legends of the night coming out. Michelle McCool, Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool for SmackDown, Tori Wilson for Raw. I think this was a nice little touch. They're digging into the vaults now in these, last few weeks. We've seen pictures of videos of the SmackDown front office. We've seen video of the Raw front office, and Hold on. I didn't know Bully Ray was a part of the front office. They got Devon in there. They got Bully Ray. They got JBL. Who else am I missing? Oh man, who else? I know they had some people in there. You couldn't really see it unless they zoom in. I know it was JBL. I seen the hat. I know
Was Teddy Long in there?
Bubba Ray.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, like all the
yeah.
Hall of Famers and legends they had presenting.
Yeah, but the way they had them in there, like they're a part of their respective brands, and kind of like Draft Day, the movie and stuff, and they're in there, the phones ringing and this and that. I thought that was a good touch. Once again, more of a sports feel, a sports presentation. Again, the SmackDown's been giving us. SmackDown picks Randy Orton. How can you go wrong? That was a solid pick. Michelle McCool announces Randy Orton. Then Tori Wilson announces Braun Breaker, which we spoke about a few moments ago. An NXT pick, or I don't know at this point. He was just floating in limbo, so somebody scooped him up. SmackDown picked Nia Jax. This was surprising. That's my big baby, though. I love me some Nia Jax. A lot of people try to shit on Nia Jax, but I love me some Nia Jax. And then Raw picks Liv Morgan. Malik, second round. If this was you, if this is good to you, or you had something else on your paper?
No, it was good to me from what I saw. I really like the Nia Jax pick. Because if they're not going to do anything with her on Raw, I think she could flourish on SmackDown. I really do. I'm with you, Sam. I don't necessarily get the Nia Jax hate. I don't know if they're still hanging on to who she was before she left and came back. But
this
the version
now,
the version of Nia Jax that we see now is the version of Nia Jax that we should have saw from jump. Like she's being herself from what we can see. She's talking a whole bunch of trash. She's dominating everything. This is the character that we wanted Nia Jax to see. So I don't get the Nia Jax hate at all. But I love that pick for SmackDown. I really do.
And she's still going to improve. So, if she would have started off at this base, then, she'd have been well off by now. But no, she's still improving. And this run right now, I can't deny it. I like me some Nia Jax. B-Ray, what are your thoughts on this second round by McCool and Wilson? The pick.
Of course, like I said, with Nia is probably the most shocking. I just thought because I think with each draft, Nia stayed on Raw, so I'm thinking, okay, so she's somebody that's not gonna move from Raw, but I like it. I do wonder who will be added to SmackDown come Monday, because as of now, SmackDown is low-key stacked as far as the women. So now I feel like, okay, now it's time to even it out a little bit, especially with somebody moving from Raw to SmackDown. But I don't have any complaints. I like Nia. I even like Nia when before she got released. I was just always a fan of hers. Like I said, this particular Nia is special. I'm officially an advocate of working on your craft, perfecting it when you get released, just in case you do come back. And Nia is literally one of them ones that did a 180 after being signed back. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she cook up on SmackDown. I'm not sure as far as feud, but I'm pretty sure Jay's staying put on SmackDown. I'm looking forward to seeing what that do. Jade and Nia eventually.
CJ Carter, do you think they're trying to? Because I feel both rosters right now are good, but I think they're trying to liven up a little bit more Raw. And I read this somewhere online that there's talks and rumors, innuendos about they want to stack Raw and make it again the flagship show prior to and getting ready for the Netflix change. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they're doing that with Raw for in starting with this draft?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's the most lucrative deal that WWE's ever had, aside from the Saudi money. So it makes, and especially if they do want to really invest in their future off cable, and if they want to go 100% into streaming, it makes sense. And then if they do end up kind of consolidating all WWE programming worldwide into Netflix, if they do end up doing that, like I think they will, then it's just going. I think it'll balance out a little bit better then. But I think for right now, they really want their best foot forward on Mondays.
Yeah, I think, and I think we're seeing the death of the PG era, and
I agree.
or another, you know. So,
Oh yeah,
and what
Because
I can't wait.
the rumor is the censoring is now no longer a decision on WWE. It's the network. Because
Right.
back then it was always WWE deciding to censor it. So I think
Mhm.
that's pretty much a number one sign for me. And like you said, with Netflix, you need all your heavy hitters, especially when it's literally going to be all gloves off, no restrictions, no nothing. This is Netflix, so you're gonna see you're gonna hear some cursing, you're gonna hear like some legit stuff. So I need all the heavy hitters on Raw.
There could be a possibility that there's two versions. I've heard them speak about this on Busted Open Radio and other
Really?
podcasts. Like there could be two versions. There could be a it's Netflix.
Right? Yeah.
The parental controls. You now on Netflix, when they release a movie, they release the regular version, and then sometimes they release the theatrical version or the director's cut.
Mm.
So we might get something like that with Raw, where they'll put out at the same time, because they're Netflix, they could do whatever they want at the same time.
Right.
They could put, if you want your kids to watch, they have the PG version that does the bleeping and all that. And then for us big kids, we get that TV 14. We're all big 14s. But
I'm here for it, man. I really hope they do the PG-13, man. I really do, man. Like it just seems like they've been going in that direction for a minute now. Netflix is going to be a huge platform for everybody to flock to. I like that, Sam. I like that. It should be that. Give something for the kids and then give something for the adults, man. That's lit. I like that.
It's Netflix.
I like that, yeah.
Because you could make your own. When I log into my Netflix, I don't know how your Netflix is. When I log into my Netflix, it has, my account, my girl account, my kids got their own account. Ain't nothing, everything is rated G. That's good. That's it. You don't even get PG-13. You just get G, rated G. All right. Now let's sink our teeth in. We've been moving kind of fast, so I saved us some time here. I want to sink our teeth in this bloodline story, because this is what happened next. We see the black vehicle show up. We see Heyman there standing. We see the car pull up. We see nothing happen for the first 15 seconds. It's like Paul forgot his motherfucking duties. Oh, my bad. Let me get the door. like what? Like what? It won't happen again. It won't happen. But he still hasn't said my tribal chief, right?
He has not.
He has still haven't called them. He's giving them respect. He's showing them fear. He's, giving them, attention. Solo comes out and he's like, wise man. Have we been drafted? No. It's kind of rough because, we don't know. Roman's gone. He officially said he's gone. And, nobody don't know what they're going to get. I love this part. Paul Heyman, French chef kiss. He says, nobody doesn't know what they're going to get. If you draft the bloodline, you got new people coming in, and then here comes Tama Tonga. I thought for a second Jacob was gonna come. Oh, when he said new people coming in, I was like, oh, a new face. Oh no, but he's coming. We just got to be patient, right? Man, this was awesome. Then out of nowhere, coming like a choo choo for the back. Boy, I love how Kevin Owens be running, bro. He throws all his body into it. He came. The craziness happens. It's awesome. I love every little bit of this bloodline story. It just keeps evolving into something, and on a weekly basis. B-Ray, what are your thoughts on this whole backstage thing with bloodline? Kevin Owens, they added a new figure towards the end. What are your thoughts?
I said this in another wrestling group I'm in. it's like a running theme to like have the bloodline have some type of a tag match at Backlash. They didn't have it. I don't think they had it last year, but they did the year before. I think it was Roman. It was the bloodline, and I believe it was Drew, Randy, and Matt. Somebody like that. But anyway, I said so we needed something like that for this year Backlash, and they gave it to me. I've been waiting on it. I was waiting on it. I didn't know who was gonna be a part of it, but I got what I wanted. I'm a huge fan of how they added more and more layers to this bloodline storyline. I am interested in what happens in France, though. I got a feeling somebody else may pull up in France during this tag match. I got a little inkling.
Somebody else in the hoodie.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else in the hoodie.
Yeah. Malik, what are your thoughts on this backstage attack and this whole interaction with Heyman and the New Bloodline and Tonga?
Man, Paul Heyman is the GOAT, man. It's just the way he set that up, just being nervous the whole time he's standing there waiting for the car, and then not opening the door because you're not the tribal chief. But let me go ahead and open the door anyway. Roman got to come back because Paul's a little stressed out with this situation. I love everything about the bloodline right now. The bloodline is ready to set anything on fire. Solo Sikoa as a tribal chief is wild because there's nothing diplomatic about him. There's nothing diplomatic about Tama Tonga. It's just two crazy men running the bloodline.
Did y'all peep how my man came out in the suit? But now he added more accessory. He accessorized more. He got the gloves.
He got the black gloves on.
And I was like, yo, somebody's getting their ass whooped because I don't know, in my community when somebody come out with the gloves, you don't bike ride. What you do with the gloves on?
Didn't Rikishi have those gloves after he turned heel? After he hit the Rock?
The gloves, man. That's
I think
crazy.
Somebody brought that up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Nice little callback.
I caught that. I was like, well, Rikishi wore those gloves. Yeah,
gloves. CJ Carter, your thoughts on this whole bloodline? How's it morphing in your eyes?
I mean, I'm here for it. I think this is just what feels like the natural evolution for the bloodline. If you're not going to rely on Roman Reigns, then you have to set the next generation of bloodline into motion. So, yeah, bring in guys like Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga to aid Solo Sikoa. And, if that's what ends up getting the original bloodline back together to take on the new breed, as it were. Shout out ECW 2006. And I think they're really going to do well. And it's a slow burn, like it's you don't have to rush anything, just focus on telling a good story and the people will flock. So I'm ready to play it out and see where this goes.
Then we see the EST come out, first draft pick of the 2024 draft pick. Little promo there. And then interrupted by the Kabuki Warriors. Kairi Sane and Asuka came out holding tag team championship titles. Trash talking. With Bianca Belair, and then here comes my girl, your girl, everybody's girl now, Jade. When I seen her, I was like, okay, then she's gonna get drafted in the next round, right? Because we seen Carmelo, and then he got drafted, and then we seen Braun Breaker, he got drafted, and I was like, oh, she might get drafted then. But lo and behold, the chaos continues from way in the back. Here comes, this was straight attitude error. Like, man, these girls are posing. They made a little Soul Train line for these guys to just come on fighting in. They come from the back, they still fighting. The security comes out. Man, KO rocked that wrestler that was dressed like a man. He rocked him. I know that dude was seeing Tweety Bird like. I was like, wow, it's pure chaos. Out of the blue, I didn't think this was going to happen. Y'all thought this was going to happen? I hear voices, man. What? I was like, what? Now it's gonna be KO and Randy versus the Bloodline. Well, the new Bloodline. Like, damn, CJ Carter, how they finished up this backstage into on stage in front of the TV cameras. They got the indie wrestlers involved. I'm sure they were happy. Mama, I'm gonna be on TV getting knocked out by Randy Orton. My baby made it. My baby made it. Right? Make sure to make a clip, tag and post me, Mama. Right?
Yeah, I mean it's I wasn't surprised to see Randy come out. I mean, they had KO and Randy had a decent alliance heading into WrestleMania, and they've both had their issues with the Bloodline in the past. So it gives Randy something to do, especially now that he's been drafted to SmackDown. So I'm looking forward to seeing the RKO show next week and seeing where they they'll probably set something up for France, but it's I'm good with Randy getting involved.
So that's official.
Oh, we got a lot of good stuff happening. We'll cover that.
The tag team match?
That's official.
Yeah, that's official.
Oh, okay, I missed that.
Yeah, it flew by too. I heard it. I missed the graphic, but I heard it. B-Ray, your thoughts on how they brought it from the back to the front for everybody to see? They brought. Remember how people back in the day be like, "Hey, I'm gonna take you out back, whoop your ass." Well, they took him out back, and then the ass whoop is so bad they had to continue it in the front for everybody to see.
First of all, whoever thought it was a good idea to set up KO and Tama right in between the girls, I thought that was brilliant. They didn't know what to do but just run off to the side. All I'm gonna say is Kevin Dunn will pay for his sins, because the camera work we've been getting compared to what he was giving us, trash. But what we getting now is absolute cinema. So whoever set that up, kudos to them. That was dope.
Yeah, I loved every second of it. Malik, what are your thoughts on that whole exchange there from the back to the front? Interrupted the women.
It was dope, man. Like I'm with Brittany, man. I'm feeling this camera work. Like the camera work has been everything for me in WWE. To be honest with you, it's making everything seem bigger to me. Pause. But other than that, it's been amazing. I'm still not with this Randy Orton and Kevin Owens thing. I don't know why it bothers me so much. Like y'all
I agree.
Because we all know Randy Orton will just turn in a heartbeat.
And you can't trust him.
So with Kevin Owens.
You can't trust KO either, right?
Yeah. Listen, I don't know if I'm being a glutton or not, but when Kevin Owens and Tama Tonga came fighting through the women, and then the whole crowd of security and referees and came through, I would have just probably loved a little more icing on the cake, where the women just started fighing right there instead of just staring.
Cool.
And the women just got, hey, what's going on? And then it would just been like, how the old Tom and Jerry cartoons, the big ball of dust comes. That would have been like real attitude era. The women would have just started scrapping right there up there by the Titantron and the man over here in the ring. That'd have been insane, but it was
if I may, supplemental draft picks have just dropped.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin and the OC are on SmackDown.
Breaking news.
Alpha Fire and Isla Dawn are on Raw.
Okay.
Shout out to Baron Corbin, man. They got you out of there. Thank God.
Right. It was time, man. Happen, yeah,
it's time, Baron Corbin. Let's go. That made my day. Yeah, Baron Corbin.
Yeah, he's back on the main show.
Yep.
I like all the incarnations of Baron.
He said he's on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, he's on SmackDown.
Yeah. I like all the incarnations.
He's not gonna be with Baron on Raw.
He's a good guy. He's a good worker.
Okay.
Yeah, I even like Olive Garden Baron Corbin. That shit was hilarious, homie. When he's come out the suit, when he's come out the vest.
Garden Baron Corbin as well.
Yeah, people forgot about that shit. That was before the broke ass Corbin and then rich Corbin. It was Olive Garden Corbin. Bro, that boy been through so many motherfucking incarnations.
I've
never heard that one before. Okay, I like that one.
Because it was from an ad. Nobody thinks about it.
Bro, he
It literally took you saying Olive Garden Corbin, and then I had to think about it for a couple seconds and be like, oh yeah, they did film an ad with the button joke being Corbin. Like, what back pocket did you pull that from, Sam? My God.
I
this
know,
for you.
I'm not the
I
only
think
one that said
the
that.
scam.
I heard that note, and it must have been motherfucking Pat McAfee or something. Somebody called it that shit, Olive Garden, because when you come out with that little bread vest, like, yeah, I wanted breadsticks every week, boy.
I think you called it, Sam. They just drafted Cedric and Ashanti together, and they're going to Smack. They stand on SmackDown, so you
All
called
right.
that.
Interesting.
They're doing some. Well, CJ, you did some goodwill in there. You
Yep,
you
they
brought that
stand on
into the
SmackDown
universe.
as a team.
Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy. All right, let's move along. Now comes the
Also, just before we carry on there with these supplemental drafts, shout out to John for sending us the screenshots so that we can hype up the show without having to actually go and find these ourselves. So
right.
Right. And thanks for catching that, because I seen the messages, but I didn't want to lurk my eyes away from what we were talking about. Thanks for catching that, buddy. And so now comes the ECW portion of the 2024 Raw. I mean, it's good to see Bully Ray, and he was special guest referee at WrestleMania. That was awesome. I loved hearing him talk about it on Busted Open. I'm gonna enjoy him talking about this on Busted Open. But then the Devon part was, that was a little surprise.
Yeah.
And Devon representing Raw, Bubba Ray representing SmackDown. They both get out there. Of course, they're gonna ham it up a little bit. I can't really see, and then they both bust out the glasses. I think that's the picture I used for the thumbnail for YouTube for tonight's show. And man, I liked every second of it, and I like how they're bringing some of the legends back, and it was awesome. So Bubba Ray for SmackDown picks for the third round. LA Knight.
yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Everybody's supposed to be on cue on that one. Everybody should know better. And,
I missed that point in the early production meeting.
B-Ray, you didn't get the memo.
Yeah.
Just a little late. I don't think anybody noticed.
Hollering.
Nobody noticed. I didn't see nothing. But and then we get Devon. I thought he was gonna testify real quick, but he mentioned, which was, I don't want to seem like a hater or nothing, because I love the guy, I love his work. I just thought it was we know he ain't going nowhere, so why pick him? And he picked Ricochet. What are your thoughts on that? This is a controversial pick for me, not because Ricochet's a bad wrestler or a bad character or anything like that. It's just like, for me, Ricochet is he's a home team boy. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I figured.
I don't think he's gonna get Cameron Grimes. You know what I mean?
No.
I think the way they've been talking about him lately, the way they've been like, oh, he's moving like a puma. Because I've been hearing Pat McAfee talk about that. He's been saying that a couple of weeks ago. He said like 2 weeks in a row. Oh, he moves fast like a puma, and we all know he's Prince Puma.
Mm-hmm.
So Rey Mysterio's on his way out the door. We need a new masked superhero. And we couldn't get one in Sin Cara. He kept botching everything.
But I mean, we've got one in Dragon Lee, and Axiom's down in NXT waiting in the wings. I don't see Prince Puma making a return. I think that was just Pat being insider baseball, being all hint, hint, wink, wink. But
Dragon Lee needs another masked a superhero always needs a supervillain.
Does he need to be masked, though?
I don't know. Does LWO need to fight Legado del Fantasma for 8 weeks in a row? I don't know. You tell me.
I agree with you there. I think that feud has long overstayed its welcome. But, I mean, we'll see. Maybe they, if they do decide to rejuvenate Ricochet a little bit. But I think they've been doing a decent enough job of building up his stock in the last few last couple months actually that he's been kind of at war with the Judgment Day.
I just don't want him to just be caught up in a little loop right now because they got that whole WWE Twitter X whatever speed thing going.
Yeah.
We all know that he's the spokesperson. He's the face that runs the speed place. So this is why they're throwing his name in there in there. I don't
tell
know.
you this though, if we get Prince Puma, we better get El Generico one time. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, I
Just
second
once.
that.
El
Generico.
Generico will happen before Prince Puma.
You think?
No, I'm just saying. We better get El Generico if we get in Prince Puma.
Yeah.
It'd be dope.
Next time if they ever run a PLE out of Mexico, then he just walks out from the orphanage he's working at and
there you go.
Does one more match and then rides off into the sunset.
There you go. That'd be a good one. All right, second picks were Solo, MFT, Heyman, and interesting that they said the way they said it: Solo Sequoia, the MFT, Paul Heyman, and the Bloodline. Like it's them three, and then the Bloodline is question mark. Why not just say the Bloodline? We all know it's them three.
But you
right,
also...
but I mean, just to say like this is the Bloodline now. Like this is what we're doing going forward. So I think it was nice to just put a bow on it and call it what it is.
Yeah. Well, we all knew they were going to stay on SmackDown, so I don't think we had to elaborate on that, huh?
I think the way they worded the terminology was interesting there. Like I said, the way they said it is like more people are coming. That's how I got. That's how I picked up on it.
What he said before, he's like, "Oh, we don't know where we're gonna get drafted because they don't know what they're gonna get from the Bloodline." So them little hints are getting dropped in left and right. Devon picks Sheamus, the Burger King. The Burger King, yo, that was hilarious. And
that Tuesday, I started getting targeted ads from Burger King on Twitter, and I'm like, I blame Sheamus and Drew McIntyre for this.
That's crazy. I like how Sheamus been just taking and having fun with it. He should. He said he should. When I win the King of the Ring, I want to be called the Burger King. And they should have the whole mascot come out with him and the entrance for the King of the Ring. It'll be awesome. Hey, they got Prime. They got dude wipes as big as my head. I mean, like,
the finals of each tournament are sponsored by Burger King and Dairy Queen.
Only if he gets the bro kick the Burger King like Al Snow and Steve Blackman destroyed the cheese at WrestleMania one year. Only if he gets to do that.
Hell yeah.
Then it'll probably be something thinking, in WWE terms of, the guy takes the Burger King head off and it's Logan Paul and he attacks Sheamus, and then it'll be like King in the Ring versus United States champion, And then we had the Prime bottle coming running out there again.
Speed.
All right, Tiffany Stratton. Y'all gonna have to take Tiffy time versus Naomi, and Bailey was commentating for that. I kind of I was doing stuff, making thumbnails, and so I kind of blipped and looked out, and y'all filled me in before the show. But CJ Carter, what happened in this match?
Saw you, CJ.
I mean, it felt like a disqualification with Nia attacking Naomi. I don't know if they called it a DQ or if they just rolled it a no contest. Because they didn't. Did they have a match graphic for Backlash? Like, did they say Bailey versus Naomi?
So Nick Aldis, so they made the announcement. So when they were backstage, Nick made the announcement that it was going to be a triple threat. And that's when Holla Holla said, okay, so he announced that, and I'm going to announce the tag team match.
Yeah, sure.
Holla Holla.
Oh, okay.
That's when Holla Holla.
Okay, I missed that. I that must have been when I switched from my tablet to my laptop to finish watching. But no, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Nia Jax. I get what you guys were saying, and I mean, I'm still open to seeing what she does, seeing if she pulls a Baron Corbin and makes me a fan of her just by doing something and having it work. I just don't get it. Like, I don't see it. But hey, now that Nia Jax is on SmackDown, maybe that's they incorporate her into the bloodline. Who knows?
That's actually a pretty good point. I actually like that, CJ. But soften your heart, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Nia Jax.
I don't know. It's not that I hate Nia Jax. It's just that if I had to pick a women's roster, she's not at the top of the list because there's just a lot of women that can do it better.
Yeah.
But Nia's a primetime player now, baby.
Yeah.
Nia's a primetime player. Yeah,
I agree.
Whether you want to see it or whether you can see it or whether you need one of us to point it out for you.
I'm fine with that, but specifically calling her a primetime player, I'm just imagining her with Darren Young and Titus O'Neil.
Not bad. That's a bad choice of words, but I just pictured Nia running down the ramp and sliding under the ring real quick. Titus O'Neil. Oh, bless his soul. All righty. What are your thoughts on the whole man? I missed it, and I'm disappointed I missed it. Did she spear her? Did she give her the big boot? Or did she put the?
Well, she attacked Bayley first,
right?
And then
Bayley
Naomi came out to defend her and got sent into the ring post.
Bayley got taken out.
Baby.
Yeah.
I get you clean out, like laid out.
Laid out. It was crazy.
Like somebody else.
And then, of course, Tiff, after the match, took advantage and attacked Bayley and Naomi.
Was she laid out like somebody on Wednesday? That was hilarious. That was hilarious. That was French kiss too. I give credit where credit was due. Yeah. Hey, all right. Brittany, you got anything to say about this Tiffany thing so we can move on? And Naomi?
As much as I love Naomi and Bayley, it's Tiffy time. Like, it's something super special about Tiffany Stratton. Like I said, I get Charlotte from her, a little bit of Charlotte flair. So I'm super excited to see her in another like big women's match. She did the elimination. Was it Elimination Chamber? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now she is going to Backlash in France. Like, I love that they are noticing that this is a talented girl. She has it, and they are literally putting a rocket on her. Like, she's not gonna win, obviously, but eventually it's coming. So yeah, it's Tiffy time.
Brittany, honestly, I think that's who they're saving her for. I think that Charlotte matchup is what they're saving her for. I'm with that. I'm for that. What?
Andrade got drafted to SmackDown, right? And they believe in keeping couples together. Mm-hmm. So you might be onto something there. I want it.
They saving her for.
I'm scared that my girl Naomi might just be getting used as a pawn in all of this, because now I seen at the beginning of SmackDown we seen the NFL walkthrough, and we seen here comes the what they call them, the fearsome twosome or something like that.
The big three?
No, they didn't say the big three. It was just Jade and Bianca by themselves. And they're like, oh, look at these two dynamic duels. And they called them a duel. Yep. And I was like, well, where's Naomi?
Well, she getting drafted to Raw, I think.
Yeah, I think Jimmy shows up on Raw. That's my opinion. I think Jimmy shows up on Raw. So that makes sense.
I don't want to downplay Naomi because I love her. I love her whole thing and gimmick and everything. But when she stands next to the other two, she looked like that part in Sesame Street. One of these things just doesn't belong here, because the aesthetics, and I think they finally catching on, because when I seen them coming in by themselves today and they didn't talk about the big three, I was like a little saddened, like, oh, I don't want Naomi. She just came back. I don't want her to get thrown to the sheep, get thrown to the wolves like that, and then I see her getting, interfered on by Tiffy. But Naomi's always she bounces back wherever she goes. So
Well, the
But
proper way to look at
don't-
it, there's more.
I know they
opportunity
didn't bring it back to Dogger Out, but I'm just a little fearful this week. Like, no.
I just don't see it. Like if Jay, I think we pretty much penciling in that Jay to stand on SmackDown, and I just don't think with them trying to fill up the women's roster on Raw, if they don't call up any other NXT superstars, I just feel like Naomi gonna jump that ship.
Yeah,
I see it happening.
about to say the same thing. I think
Yeah.
Naomi fares better on Raw because SmackDown is stacked. Like
she'll-
SmackDown it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to be put in the upper echelon on SmackDown right
She'll
now.
get easily lost if she stay on SmackDown, especially since they're not putting the emphasis on Jay and Bianca together as a tag team. So
All right. Now we are moving along and we're wrapping up. Then we seen the graphic for the tag champs versus the Street Profits for next week, right?
Mhm.
That was the graphic for that. Oh, we seen our boys, the Final Testament, beating up New Catch Revival. I'm sorry, New Catch need their ass whipped. And I'm glad that finally they let the leashes off AOP, and you see
Ellery.
you see the
and
old
I thought about
Ellery back
you.
there. Oh, Ellery look back there like a mean Mr. Burns.
I thought about you in that segment. I said, yeah, I see it. They cooking. I said, I love this for Sam. They cooking tonight. I like it.
And I like New Catch Revival, but like, man, they've been getting hyped up a little too fast, too soon for me.
Yep.
So I'm glad that they got knocked off that little horse. So like, anybody else with me? What else did I miss from the little? This was the little moment they started showing the graphics for whatever's coming up for Backlash and all of that, right?
What they did?
Carter, I know you itching to let it rip. Go ahead, I see you.
It's a CJ segment, of course.
I just got a kick out of Karrion Kross saying whether we go to Raw or we stay on SmackDown. I'm like, motherfucker, you're going to NXT. Shut up. I do love seeing AOP being particularly vicious. Like, I've never had a problem with AOP. I've said before, I think the best version of them was when they were with Paul Ellering, just wrecking shop in NXT. So if they're headed for doing this again, then I'm all for it. So it's just Karrion Kross. I just can't get on board. I don't know what to say. It's just I don't get it. But, you know, it's same thing as Nia Jax. If this Final Testament thing ends up working out down the run and I end up being a fan of Karrion Kross, I'll be happy to admit it, but we'll see.
that look into the camera from Cross was, this is our last night here, boy. You better make this shine. You better shoot for the feds and swing for the Oscars.
Like, I'm about to give y'all an Oscar winning performance right here.
Right. All right. The fourth round, Teddy Long comes out, holla, 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 and JBL come out. All right. SmackDown chooses AJ Styles. Raw picks the whole Alpha Academy.
That was shocking.
I think
that was
shocking to me. Yeah.
That was good. That was a shocking little pick there.
Yep.
Because everybody was thinking, I know I wasn't the only one. Everybody was thinking that they're gonna split them up because boy, Chad done turned to the dark side.
Yep.
Boy, I love everything. Hey, I love it. I don't mean to talk about Mondays, but where he was like, you and say yes, we are on Monday. That was beautiful. But yeah. Mm-hmm. So then Andrade's got picked to SmackDown. You mentioned that earlier. Yeah, you know, got to stick with Charlotte. Bless her soul. And then now this is surprising. Kiana James, another NXT pick. So we only had Carmelo, we had Braun Breaker, and we also had Kiana James. Yep.
And that was it. Like, I don't know much about Kiana James. You know, maybe you guys could fill me in.
CJ,
I've
seen her a couple.
She's been doing really well on NXT, and
yes.
Very excited to see what she does on Raw.
Right. I mean, she's got the look. Go ahead, Brittany.
She was in the The stand and deliver match, right? I was there, and I can't even remember if she was there in that match. Was she in that match?
The 6-woman tag at
Yeah, she
Stand
was in
and
that
Deliver.
match. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah, it
thought.
was her, JC Jane, and I think Jasmine Nix.
Yep.
No, Jasmine
No,
Nix was on the outside. It was
I know it was
because it
Kalani.
was Kalani, Thea, and her name's on the tip of my tongue with Briggs and Fallon Henley.
Yep, Fallon. Yep.
They had the
And
watch party at NXT. I like
mhm,
that a touch of
Sure
it.
did.
I like when they gave her the Raw hat, like they do in the NBA, and
mhm.
the NFL, the jersey and all that. That I liked that part. That was pretty cool.
Now that
And
is, I
let me
think,
say
the
one last
best
thing.
possible.
Let me say one last thing, Carter. Let me say one last
Sure.
thing. I did get one vibe when I seen her. I did see her a couple of times wrestling NXT. I don't know too much about her, but I'm gonna do some more investigating. But one vibe I did get when I seen this draft was Raquel Gonzalez replacement. She got the look, she got the stature, she got
Yeah,
the shoulders, she
yeah,
got the physique, and we know our girl Raquel Gonzalez got medical issues with the skin things, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
she can't really do her thing. So that's what I thought. Go ahead, Carter.
Well, just even just on that point, I don't see the 1-to-1 parallel. Just because the gimmick isn't set on, like, look how muscular I am.
Right.
Like,
But
Donna
I
James
just got that
has a
feeling.
character. Yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah.
with the point of putting on the Raw hat, like, I liked that, and I think they need to retool the draft. Like, I don't
Yeah.
watch a whole lot of other professional sports, but I mean, I don't think any professional sporting league has a draft set up in a way where all the other teams are just trading back and forth.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty much.
I think, but I mean, like,
I
it
mean,
could be just regular trades throughout the year between Raw and SmackDown. But if they really want the draft to be meaningful, then the draft is all NXT talent going to Raw or SmackDown. That is the best opportunity to capitalize on, setting up these NXT talent for meaningful storylines when they get to the main roster, because why else would you draft them otherwise? You can keep it down to one night. It doesn't have to be like, it can be either Raw or SmackDown, or keep it on NXT because it's the showcase for NXT talent to go to the main roster. And with the main roster stars going down to NXT at the rate they have been anyways, the brand separation doesn't feel like it really means as much as it used to. So if you have a little bit of main roster fluctuation between Raw and SmackDown, that's fine. But the draft should be the call up for NXT.
I agree and I disagree. The only reason why I disagree is because if you want to do that type of draft, it's a massive influx of new talent that they don't have. So it would be impossible to have that and keep it a regular thing. Like, I get that the
NXT no more.
Right. I get that the WWE draft is more like a trade deadline in other sports. I get that. I totally understand it. But the WWE just doesn't have the regular influx of talent to hold the draft like that every single year. If it's once every 5 years, once every 10 years, I could kind of get it, because that, you know what I'm saying? I kind of see that, CJ. But that just wouldn't work that way, because it's too many moving pieces. Like, are you going to send people down to NXT to then be drafted again? Because that's where you're going to be at that point, unless you're just signing people left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I partially agree, but I also do think that the draft should be his own show. It should be its own show. It should be its own show.
I agree with that.
On the network, where it'll be maybe like on a Wednesday or a Thursday or something, where it's just like the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame should be its own show. It shouldn't be getting bled in with SmackDown. And same thing for for the draft. Yeah, people say it's excuse for new storylines, but as we seen today, it really didn't make no sense because you got Braun Breaker on SmackDown, but then he got drafted to Raw, and the odds of us seeing him on Raw is going to be pretty damn good because he's hot name right now. So of course they're gonna push the envelope, but yeah, I think it should be his own thing. It maybe I'm even accepting an idea of it should just be like an online thing, something they do on the WWE social media thing. Something on
Yeah.
just
Especially if they want to
WWE
develop
World somewhere
partnership
to
with
do it
Twitter.
there. It would be dope to do it there. WWE
Yeah,
World or
yeah,
something.
and
Have the
dude,
fans be
people-
part of it. It'd be fire.
yeah, millions of people are gonna tune in wherever. If it look, the thing I was referenced to the Hall of Fame, you don't get that. You don't get the wrestling crowd in there. You get a crowd that like, okay, I'm there to sit for 2 or 3 hours just to watch Hall of Fame. So you're not gonna get the wrestling crowd that are juiced up over matches, you know. And then the same thing for the draft. The draft, you get a separate show on online or on Netflix or just on Peacock, and then you get the audience to be like, okay, I'm just here to watch the draft. The NFL does it every year. They have millions of people just watch the draft, and ain't none to watch people just sit in a suit. They could present it with the level of presentation that got on SmackDown. They could have all these young kids dressed in nice suits, got the caps. They could do the caps now too. They could emphasize that because we only seen one little cap. I would love to see some SmackDown caps getting passed around. Right. Right. I think that's it. We've been rolling good today. We're way over time. Let's wrap this up. Anybody got anything else to say about the last round of the draft? Brittany, sorry.
Fingers crossed for Dragunov to get drafted Monday. Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah. He's got to get drafted. I think Trick Williams not going to get drafted. He might stay there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But it's
One
time.
weird thing that I literally just remembered about the NXT side, seeing Ava sitting in the midst of all the champions, and then Roxanne on the other side of the aisle being the only champion on that side felt a little weird. Malik, I know you're my compadre over on Tuesdays, so I don't know if it's just me that it kind of felt off, or even if you noticed that.
No, I didn't notice. You said where were they sitting? What's the position? You said she was sitting with the other champions, but Roxanne was kind of over somewhere else.
Yeah, because the way they had the seating in the ring, that first row, I can't remember who was on camera left, but on camera right, they had Trick Williams, then Ava, then Axiom and Nathan Fraser, and Oba Femi on the end. But then on the other side of the aisle was Roxanne Perez, and I think the D'Angelo family actually was taking up the rest of the front row. So I thought it was weird that that Ava wouldn't have been at the draft site. I mean, it makes sense that she'd be at the Performance Center with her brand, but I mean, it feels like she should have been there kind of weighing in on Raw and SmackDown's choices. But also just the fact that she was taking a champion out of Champions Row to sit there herself, I don't know. It was an odd choice, I thought.
All right, guys.
Some ammunition, so hopefully she uses that on Tuesday.
All right, guys, we came to the moment of the show. Well overdue, 19 minutes overdue and some change, but it's that time for it, and we're going to make this quick. Cedric Alexander.
Easily said, easily.
All right, moving on. All right. Did anybody have anything else besides Cedric Alexander? I'm sorry.
No.
Heck no.
I hate to have done that, but yeah. Megastar tonight. B-Ray, what you got?
This last QR code from whoever get ready to show up. That was probably the most genius out of all the QR codes recently. So that's my pick.
QR code? I missed it. What?
Yeah, it was during the replay from Breaker and Cedric's match.
Uncle Howdy?
Yep. I think, well, obviously, I think, but yeah, I send it in the chat.
Listen, for the past 3 weeks, them people been having me taking pictures of my TV, looking at my phone upside down, looking at it sideways, looking at it backwards in the mirror. Like, I give up. I'm done. I'm just gonna wait patiently because my neck hurts, my wrist is cramped.
I like this.
Yeah, dude. My girl walk in on the bathroom. I'm like doing this number. Like, what are you doing? I try to read Uncle Howdy's QR code. It didn't look like you was trying to do that, but I was. But I'm sorry. CJ Carter, who's your mega star tonight? Let's get it on.
I think I'm just going to give it to Cody Rhodes. I mean, solid match. He ended the show. Big momentum heading into Backlash. And he made Melo look good for the most part. And, give it to the champ.
Malik.
Santos Escobar for exposing Ray for the almost went off there, but I mean Santos Escobar for exposing Ray for who he really is. I'm with you, Santos. I'm with you.
Listen, if you're right about that, that's gonna be the story. That's gonna be the story.
I gotta try, man.
I actually want Ray to turn now. Like, yeah, I told him to do it. I told him to do it. That'd be a good twist. That would lock me back into this whole LWO Legado. That's my. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to go just with all the legends that showed up and showed out tonight for Megastars of the Night. They actually brought Megastars back for tonight. So I would be remiss if I don't pick all the Megastars that came out for tonight. Triple H, we have Michelle McCool, Tori Wilson, we had the Dudleys, Devon and Bubba Ray, Bully Ray, Holla Holla, Teddy Long, and JBL. You know what I thought when JBL and Teddy Long were gonna be there? And the first pick that SmackDown picks for the 2000 Teddy Long was going to be like the Undertaker. I'm the only one that thought that. I'm glad I didn't think
I thought that too.
All right, guys. Hey, I had fun. This is a great show, guys. And just let everybody know real quick where they find you during the week. CJ Carter.
At CJ Carter 22 on Twitter. Here every Friday, rewinding NXT. Every Tuesday night, rewinding every Friday night, rewinding SmackDown. Every Tuesday, rewinding NXT. It's a good time.
Malik Wilson.
Matthew Malik Wilson, Facebook and Instagram. Catch me on the NXT recaps. Catch me on the SmackDown recaps, and you can catch me on 3NT on Sundays. Can't wait. Watch along next week. Backlash. Tune in.
Yeah, and B. Ray Jones.
Instagram and Twitter is the same. B Ray Jones, BEERAY Jones. Of course, I'm here on the SmackDown recap, and you can also catch me on the pay-per-view recaps with SG Radio.
Roger that. And I'm Small Austin 316. You can catch me every Friday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 2KWE, #1 in virtual wrestling game entertainment, and every Friday here with you guys in the crew, and every Sunday back at 2KWE main show. All right, guys, this was a blast. We'll see y'all next week for the DSR SmackDown Rewind show from Small Austin 316, and everybody here. Let's all see if we can do it together. The LA Night. 1, 2, 3. Everybody saying, yeah.
No heat.
We suck. Oh, we're gonna try that better next week. God damn, we should have got that. All right, guys. See y'all next week.
Bro, like, how bad is this, Jeff, when the wrestlers are crying in the ring every week? Literally.
The theory that it was inaudible because
At the same time that they've been, feeding into you this idea that you're supposed to
make us think that he's about to talk about this person serious. So I'm like, it doesn't necessarily count as a rep. It's not a, kendo stick or anything like that.
And I don't like that idea. He wouldn't have had a promo. But like. for realizing like this is the first time Logan Paul has shown up since he won.
He said, "You're out here. You're out here."
Do we push him to the back or what?